Welcome all today to one of the most historic days in Australian Coptic history. We've gathered here today in Belmore Park in Sydney to mourn the recent killings of those who were needlessly murdered at the hands of the Egyptian government. The recent killings of more than 24 Coptic Christians by the Egyptian army in Cairo. We are blessed today to have Ambassador with us, and he's the Bishop of Melbourne, as well as many dignitaries and honourable politicians such as the Honourable Tony Abbott, Federal Leader of the Opposition, as well as Honourable Chris Bowen, who is Minister for Immigration and Citizenship.
We've seen the fall of a dictatorship followed by violence. We've seen the fall of a brutal regime followed by violence towards members of Christian minorities. Today we say, let Egypt be different. Let Egypt shine the way forward for other countries in the Middle East. Let Egypt be a nation which gives all members of its community the right to live in freedom, regardless of their religion, regardless of their beliefs. All members of the Egyptian community should be able to live in freedom and peace. The Coptic community always will be part of Egypt, but the Coptic community will always have a friend and a safe haven in Australia. We share your grief, we share your upset, we share your concern. My friends, we share your grief today. And on behalf of the Prime Minister and Government of Australia, I express my condolences not only to the victims and families of the massacre at Maspero Square and on other churches, but to all members of the Coptic community around the world. Albi meakum, tahazeti meakum, wa ana hasililkum, shakrum.
We will continue to be a voice for the voiceless, the Coptic Christians of Egypt. I want to also ask, why is all this persecution happening to the Copts? Father Mark Jury, an Anglican priest from Melbourne, answers this quite eloquently by saying, today the root of massive human rights abuses being suffered by the Copts is entirely theological. Their difficulties are grounded in an Islamic vision for society which affords a clearly defined place for non-Muslims, and specifically including Christians. Not all Muslims are seeking to implement this vision, but many are, and there is no coherent alternative vision being offered to Muslims in Egypt today. The Islamic political vision, which is the root of the Copt sufferings, demands that non-Muslims accept a place defined for them by Sharia law. We are supposed to be living in a period of renewal and transformation in Egypt post the 25th of January revolution. It has been called the Arab Spring, that is supposed to bring hope of a brighter future for Egypt. I'm sorry to say that this Arab Spring has become for us a Coptic winter. Several years ago in the Australian Parliament, Kevin Rudd, the Prime Minister at the time, made a public apology for the injustice towards the indigenous people of Australia, our Aboriginal brothers and sisters. That can happen in Australia today because we are a nation that respects human rights and religious freedom.
Please welcome Mr. Abbott to the stage.
Let me say what an honour it is to stand before you today and share your grief at what has happened to your brothers in Egypt, and to speak out loud and clear and strong for the universal decencies of mankind. I had a mentor in my school days, a Jesuit priest, who said to me constantly, Pray as if everything depended upon God, but work as if everything depended upon you. And I want to say to all of you that you are working so hard today, first of all, to speak out on behalf of the great Coptic community of Australia. Second, to show solidarity with the Coptic community of Egypt, the oldest and largest Christian community of the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, no true religion can contemplate this kind of horror. Thanks very much indeed.
Mr. Abbott, thank you.